it's probably been maybe a year and a half ago. So came across his YouTube channel. An Orthodox Jew who acknowledges Yeshua as Messiah is not very common, right? So immediately kind of captured my attention, and I began to, listen to some of his teachings on YouTube, and enjoyed, his insight and his perspective. So a couple things. So first of all, Ariel is an Orthodox Jew. He's not a Christian. He's not Messianic in the way that many of us may think about it. He's an Orthodox Jew from Jerusalem, and so that means, as an Orthodox Jew, that means he approaches God, he approaches the Torah and the Scriptures from a Orthodox Jewish perspective. He pulls from traditional Orthodox sources, including what's called the Oral Torah, the Talmud, the Gemara, the Midrashim, Kabbalah, Hasidut, all of these different things that are very common areas of study, of Torah study in Orthodox Judaism. That's his, that's where he comes from. And so his perspective is an Orthodox Jewish perspective, which to me is unique, because those of us who are either are Christians or come from a Christian background, or even those of us who are in Hebrew roots or Messianic Judaism and all of its shapes and sizes, right? The ability to actually engage in dialogue meaningfully with an Orthodox Jew that is not antagonistic when it comes to Yeshua is, that's it's unusual, rare, perhaps. Rare. And so I've kind of got to know his teaching, and then started a dialogue online. Theo, by the way, raise your hand, Theo. Theo is here. He's Ariel's assistant, and started to communicate online with them. And then, Theo decided, Hashem prompted, there's a lot of background there, but Hashem prompted them to come to the U.S. to try to begin to engage with Christians in the Messianic community regarding his vision. And he's going to share the vision. I'm not going to steal that thunder. It's a big vision, and it's exciting. But I want to just kind of set that stage, because he doesn't speak Christian. He speaks Jewish. Okay, if you kind of know what I'm saying. So his terminology is Jewish terminology. So some of you are going to hear concepts or terms that are completely new. He may use words that are not familiar. Okay. The point is that you don't need to. The point is he's not here. He's actually not here to teach Torah to Christians and Messianics. That's not why he's here. And again, he'll share why he's here. But nevertheless, he will share, particularly his journey of how he's got to be where he is. But he's going to bring it from an Orthodox Jewish perspective. And so he didn't find Yeshua talking to a Christian missionary. He didn't find Yeshua in the New Testament. And so it's a different perspective. His background, and he'll go into more detail, but his background for the last many years, he has been a student of Kabbalah and Hasidut. Okay, which Kabbalah in Christian circles and even a lot of Messianic circles, when you hear that word, there's like this. Isn't that like witchcraft and voodoo and black magic? And there's a lot of just kind of misinformation about what genuine Kabbalah is, right? There's a lot of kind of whatever, there's a lot of stuff out there that's not Kabbalah. That's what he spent the last couple, 2 or 3 decades studying. He studied that under some of the greatest rabbis within Orthodox Judaism, and his rabbi, the rabbi in particular that he studied with, who we're not going to share his name, just because we have to be sensitive, right? But this rabbi in particular is one of the top teachers of Kabbalah and Hasidut in Orthodox Judaism. He is like top shelf. He has been Ariel's teacher for
35 years ago.
35 years. Okay? So his rabbi asked him to come to the U.S. and share this vision. He'll talk more about that. But it's neat to see what Hashem is doing. And you know, there's been a lot of different Christian organizations and Messianic organizations over the years that have tried to witness to religious Jews. I'm not talking about secular Jews, I'm talking about religious Jews. And if we're honest, there hasn't been a lot of success there. Okay? Even though that's all well intended, there hasn't been a lot of success there. To me, and I think the Torah brings this out, I'm not going to go into that, that's a whole other class, but to me, I think it's got to come from within the Orthodox community. And I view Ariel as one of those individuals within the Orthodox community that Hashem could use to begin to break down the taboos around Yeshua. I've spent the last 2.5 days with Ariel and Theo and got to know them, got to know their hearts. He's a precious soul. His love for Hashem is just beautiful. His knowledge of the Torah in those areas is impressive, to say the least. We've had a lot of late night conversations, and my head's been spinning now for a couple days. But in any event, what I really want, the goal is not for you to, he's not here to teach Kabbalah. He's not here to teach Hasidut. He's not here to teach Torah. He's not here to promote Judaism. Okay, he's here to share a vision with respect to Yeshua. And so, at the end of this evening, I hope that if you put yourself in the camp that says, I love Israel, I love the Jewish people, and I love Messiah Yeshua, then whether you understand everything he's doing, whether you understand the methods in terms of his approach to the Torah, and the way he gets there, is really irrelevant, because he's not trying to convince you. He's trying to convince Orthodox Jews. And I believe Hashem can use him to do that. So, you're going to hear him talk a little bit about Gematria, and so just real quick, for those of you who don't know what that is, that is just looking at the numerical value of letters and numbers in the Torah, and deriving meaning. Okay, so how is that possible? What's the deal, right? Well, if you believe that the scriptures are inspired, and of course he's looking at the Tanakh, right, the Hebrew Bible. So if you believe that the Tanakh is inspired, do I have an amen in here?
Amen.
Then not only are the words and the letters inspired, but from the perspective of Orthodox Judaism, whether you agree or not, is the numerical value of the letters are also inspired. So you might say, well, okay, maybe not, I don't know. Well, there's a very famous gematria that anybody coming from a Christian background or even a Messianic background is familiar with. Does anybody want to guess what that is? Book of Revelation, and the number of his name is the number of a man, and it's 666. That's gematria. That's an example of gematria in the New Testament, right? It's referring to the numerical value of that person's, or the anti-Messiah, or whatever term you want to put on that particular individual it's referencing. But that passage is referring to the numerical value of that individual's name. That's gematria. Okay, so there is examples of that in the Brit Hadashah, in the New Testament. Okay, so he's going to talk a little bit about that because that's one of the primary tools that he uses. And the last thing I'll say, and then the way we're going to do this is it's going to be kind of an interview format. So I'm going to sort of interview Ariel. Ariel, he's got a heavy Israeli accent that I've come to really appreciate. So he's when he talks, you're going to have to really pay attention because he's got a heavy Israeli accent. So that's good. It's going to keep you keep you focused. So we're going to do kind of an interview approach here. But just one last concept with respect to gematria and the difference in Hebrew versus most other languages is this. Let me just one quick thing here. Okay, so if I write the English letter A as an apple, what does that letter mean? What does A mean?
Ox.
What?
Ox.
A means ox?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
No. The English letter A.
Oh. No.
What does the English letter A mean?
It's just an article.
It's just a letter. It means nothing by itself. The only way an A in English has any significance is when it's combined with other letters to create a word.
Like you.
Okay? If I write the Hebrew letter Aleph, that's bad script, by the way. That's bad Hebrew script. What does the letter Aleph, which is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, what does that mean?
It's an ox.
Strength.
An ox, strength.
One.
Okay, I could give the mic to him and he could talk for probably 5 days on the meaning of the Aleph. Okay? So this is this difference between Hebrew, the language that the scriptures were given in, and even when we talk about the New Covenant, there's debate about, were they originally written in Hebrew or not. We don't have original Hebrew manuscripts. All we have is, we don't have original Greek manuscripts either, but all we have is Greek, right? But even if they were written in Greek, they were thought in Hebrew, right? Because they were written by Jews, about a Jew, to other Jews, right? So the point is, this is the reason why, at least from an Orthodox Jewish perspective, you can dig into what's called the inner Torah, which is really digging into the deeper meanings of these letters and the combination of the letters, because the letters themselves have essence, have meaning by themselves. And they have a numerical value, and all of it, from their perspective, is from God. And that's how they approach the topic. So I want to just kind of give that little preamble to just set the stage. Good? Okay. All right.
Greg, there are no numbers in Hebrew like we have in English, but the letters are the numbers. Isn't that correct?
So the question is, does Hebrew have a different set of numbers?
Right, which are the letters. They don't have numbers like we do 1, 2, 3. I mean, the letters are the numbers.
The letters in Hebrew have numeric value.
That is,
Yes. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to give this mic to Ariel. Ariel, say hi to everybody. Hi.
hello?
All right. And